Have you ever looked at an email from your boss, read it 3 times, and still thought, wait, what does this actually mean?
If you have, you are definitely not alone. It is amazing how just a few simple words can completely destroy a quiet afternoon at the office.
I'm Rose, and this is English Through Situations.
And I'm Jack. Today, we are stepping into the office to look at a classic workplace drama. We are going to see how one very short, poorly written email caused a huge misunderstanding for an entire team.
It is a situation that almost everyone has experienced at least once. We will figure out what went wrong, why it caused so much panic, and most importantly, how to communicate much more clearly at work.
You will learn how to ask for things politely, how to specify deadlines without sounding rude, and how to avoid the kind of vague language that gives your coworkers a headache.
So, grab your coffee, sit back, and let's open up today's situation. The email everyone misunderstood. Let's set the scene. The story takes place at a medium-sized marketing agency called Brightwave Media.
It is Wednesday afternoon. Specifically, it is 3:15 p.m. The office is relatively quiet. People are wearing their headphones, looking at their screens, and just trying to get through the middle of the week.
The team is currently working on a very large campaign for a new client. It is a stressful project, and the final presentation is scheduled for Friday morning.
The team consists of 3 main people: David, who is the graphic designer, Emma, who is the head copywriter, and Mark, the data analyst. They all report to their project manager, Sarah.
Now, Sarah is usually a great manager, but today she is rushing. She is running between meetings, her phone is constantly buzzing, and she is feeling the pressure of the Friday deadline.
At exactly 3:17 p.m., Sarah opens her email app on her phone while walking down the hallway. She quickly types a message to the team's group email address. She hits send and walks into another 1-hour meeting, completely turning off her phone.
And what did that email say? It did not have a proper subject line. The subject line just said, update.
And the body of the email contained only one sentence, 5 simple words. It said, "Send it to me today."
That's it? Send it to me today. No greeting, no specific details, no exact time?
That is exactly the problem. Let's look at what happens next. At 3:18 p.m., David, the graphic designer, sees the email. His heart starts beating faster.
Why? What is David thinking?
Well, David is currently designing a 50-page presentation deck. It is only half finished. He thinks Sarah's email means, "Send the final presentation deck to me today."
Oh no, he must be panicking. He probably thought he had until Thursday evening to finish it.
Exactly. David immediately closes all his other windows, cancels his afternoon break, and starts working at double speed. He is stressed, sweating, and silently angry at Sarah for changing the deadline without warning.
Poor David. But what about Emma, the copywriter?
Emma sees the same email at 3:20 p.m. Now, Emma just had a conversation with Sarah that morning about a completely different topic, a short press release for a local magazine.
Ah, so Emma thinks it refers to the press release.
Right, but Emma has a different problem. She sees the word today. To Emma, today in a short, urgent-sounding email means right now. She thinks Sarah is waiting for it this very second.
So Emma drops everything she is doing. She doesn't even proofread the document properly. She just attaches the first draft of the press release and replies directly to Sarah saying, "Here it is. Sorry for the delay."
Yes, but remember, Sarah is in a meeting and her phone is off. She doesn't see Emma's reply.
We still have one more team member. What about Mark, the data analyst?
Mark is the most confused of all. Mark hasn't spoken to Sarah in 2 days. He is working on 3 different budget spreadsheets. When he reads "Send it to me today," he has absolutely no idea what it is.
So what does he do? Does he just guess?
No, Mark is analytical. He goes to the team group chat. He types, "Hey guys, what does Sarah want? Which document is it?"
And I imagine that is when the real chaos begins.
"Yes," David replies in the chat. "She wants the final presentation. We are dead. The deadline moved.
And Emma probably replies, "What? No, she means the press release. I already sent it to her."
Then David panics even more. Wait, you sent the press release? But the presentation isn't ready. Why did she email all of us if she only wanted the press release?
This is a total disaster. The group chat explodes. For the next 40 minutes, David, Emma, and Mark argue and panic over these 5 words. 27 messages are sent. David is stressed drinking coffee, Emma is nervously checking her sent folder, and Mark is just staring at his screen, completely lost.
Finally, at 4:30 p.m., Sarah walks out of her meeting. She turns on her phone, sees the massive chain of panicked messages in the group chat, and sits down at her desk, extremely confused.
Let me guess. She didn't mean the presentation deck, and she didn't mean the press release either.
Nope. She types one quick message into the group chat. Guys, calm down. I was talking about the lunch order for Friday. We need to send the food menu to the restaurant today. Please send the lunch list to me today.
The lunch order. All of that stress, all of that panic over sandwiches and salads.
Exactly. A perfectly normal afternoon was ruined because of one vague pronoun and a lack of context.
That is a brilliant and terrible situation. It is funny now, but when you are in that office, it feels like a nightmare. Let's break this down, Jack. Why did this tiny email cause such a huge problem?
It comes down to 2 major communication failures. The first one is the use of vague language, specifically the word it. The second failure is the tone of the message.
Let's start with the word it. In English grammar, it is a pronoun. We use pronouns to replace nouns so we don't have to repeat the same word over and over again.
Exactly. If I say, "Where is the report? I need it," the word it clearly means the report. The context is established in the first sentence.
But in Sarah's email, there was no first sentence. There was no context. She just said, "Send it to me." When you send an email to a group of people working on multiple projects, it could mean 100 different things.
This is a very common mistake in the workplace. People assume that because they know what they are thinking about, everyone else knows too. Sarah had the lunch menu on her mind, so she assumed it obviously meant the lunch menu.
We call this the curse of knowledge. You know something, so you forget what it is like not to know it. How should she have written that part of the email?
She needed to replace the vague pronoun with a specific noun. Instead of it, she should have written the lunch order or your menu choices.
Okay, that solves the mystery of what the item was. But what about the deadline? She wrote today. Is today too vague?
In a business context, yes. Today is a very wide target. Does it mean right this second? Does it mean by 5 p.m. before everyone goes home? Or does it mean midnight?
As we saw in the story, Emma thought it meant right now, which made her rush and send a first draft without checking it.
When you need something from your colleagues, you should always give a specific time. If it is not urgent, say so. If you need it by the end of the day, say by 5 p.m., or use the common business abbreviation EOD, which means end of day.
I love using EOD. It manages expectations perfectly. If I say, please send it by EOD, my coworker knows they don't have to panic at 2 p.m. They can finish their current task first.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the second major failure, the tone.
The sentence was, send it to me today. It feels very heavy. It feels demanding.
That is because it is an imperative sentence. An imperative sentence starts directly with a verb. Send it, give it, do it. It is a command.
And commands are usually reserved for emergencies or when you are a military general. In a normal office environment, even if you are the boss, using raw commands can make people feel stressed or unappreciated.
It sounds aggressive, even if Sarah didn't mean to be aggressive. She was just in a hurry. But in written communication, you cannot see the person's face or hear their voice. The words carry all the emotion.
So how do we soften an imperative sentence? How do we make a command sound like a polite request?
We use modal verbs and polite phrases, words like could, would, or simply adding please. Let's do a quick role play, Rose. I will give you a direct command, and you tell me how it makes you feel.
Okay, I'm ready.
Send the report now.
Ouch! That makes me feel like I am in trouble. I feel defensive immediately. It feels like you are barking at me.
Right. Now let's change it. Could you please send the report when you have a moment?
Much better. That feels respectful. It acknowledges that I am a professional and that I have other things to do, but it still clearly states what you need.
Exactly. In Sarah's case, she needed the lunch order by the end of the day. So how could she have written that 5-word email to make it professional, clear, and polite?
She could have written, "Could everyone please send their lunch choices for Friday to me by 5 p.m. today?"
Perfect. Let's count those words. Could everyone please send their lunch choices for Friday to me by 5 p.m. today? That is 16 words instead of 5.
It takes maybe 10 extra seconds to type those extra 11 words. But those 10 seconds of typing would have saved 40 minutes of absolute panic for 3 different people.
That is the ultimate lesson of workplace communication. Being direct is good, but being clear is better. Being too brief often creates more work for everyone else.
Let's talk a bit more about the group chat reaction. Mark did something smart. He asked for clarification. He said, "Hey guys, what does Sarah want?"
Yes, Mark tried to clarify. To clarify means to make something clear or easier to understand. But his mistake was asking David and Emma, who also didn't know.
What should he have done?
He should have replied directly to Sarah and asked a clarifying question. Even if she was in a meeting, it is better to ask the source.
How do you politely ask a manager to explain a vague email? You can't just say, "I don't understand you."
No, you don't want to blame the sender. You can use phrases that take the focus off their mistake. For example, you could write, "Hi Sarah, just to clarify, which document are you referring to?"
Just to clarify. That is a wonderful, soft phrase. It doesn't say, "You were vague." It says, "I want to make sure I am doing the right thing."
Another good option is, "Hi Sarah, I want to make sure I prioritize the right task. Are you asking for the lunch order or the presentation draft?"
That is excellent because it shows you are managing your time well. It shows you care about prioritizing.
Yes, and notice what we are not doing. We are not doing what David did. David jumped to conclusions.
Oh, jump to conclusions. That is a great idiom. It means to guess the facts of a situation without having enough information. David saw the word "it" and immediately jumped to the worst-case scenario, the presentation.
Emma also jumped to conclusions by assuming it meant her press release. When communication is unclear, human beings have a natural tendency to assume the worst. That is why clarity is a manager's most important tool.
You know, Jack, I think technology makes this problem worse. Because we have smartphones, we treat emails like text messages.
That is a very accurate observation. Text messages are informal. We use abbreviations. We drop pronouns. We write fast. But an email to a team, even a short one, should still be treated as an official piece of communication.
If Sarah had treated it like a real email, she would have written a proper subject line. If the subject line was "Friday lunch menu," the whole problem would have been solved instantly, even with the vague body text.
Subject lines are the signposts of the email world. They tell you exactly where you are going. An empty subject line, or one that just says "update," is like a street sign with no words on it. It is useless.
So, the next time you are typing an email while walking down the hallway, stop walking. Stand still for 10 seconds, read what you wrote, and ask yourself, will my team know exactly what I mean?
And if the answer is no, take the time to fix it. Your team's blood pressure will thank you.
All right, we have analyzed the drama and hopefully saved some future teams from a group chat meltdown. Now let's focus on the language. It is time for some useful phrases from today's story.
We have selected 7 key words and phrases from our discussion that are extremely helpful for professional English.
Our first phrase is a noun phrase. A misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding happens when a message is not understood correctly, or when two people have different ideas about what was said.
Example, the short email caused a huge misunderstanding among the team members.
Repeat after us. A misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding.
The next word is an adjective. Vague.
Vague means not clearly expressed, described, or decided. If a message is vague, it lacks details.
Example, saying, "Send it to me today," is too vague because we don't know what it is.
Repeat after us. Vague.
Vague.
Phrase number 3 is a phrasal verb. To clarify.
To clarify means to make something clear or easier to understand by explaining it in more detail.
Example, could you please clarify which document you need?
Repeat after us. To clarify.
To clarify.
Number 4 is an idiom that we discussed earlier. To jump to conclusions.
This means to make a decision about something too quickly, before you know all the facts. Often, it involves expecting a bad outcome.
Example, before you panic, let's ask Sarah. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Repeat after us. To jump to conclusions.
To jump to conclusions.
Phrase number 5 is a great business abbreviation. EOD, end of day.
EOD is used to set a deadline for the end of the working day, usually around 5 p.m. or whenever the office closes.
Example, please send me the final budget report by EOD.
Repeat after us. EOD.
EOD.
Number 6 is an action phrase. To prioritize.
To prioritize means to decide which of a group of things are the most important so that you can deal with them first.
Example, I have 3 projects to finish. I need to prioritize the presentation deck.
Repeat after us. To prioritize.
To prioritize.
And our final phrase is a polite sentence starter. Just to clarify,
You use this at the beginning of a sentence when you want to ask a question without sounding aggressive or accusing the other person of being confusing.
example, just to clarify, are we meeting at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m.?
Repeat after us. Just to clarify.
Just to clarify. Now it's your turn. We want to hear from you.
We've talked a lot about how to change aggressive, demanding language into polite, professional requests.
So here is your challenge for today. Imagine you are a manager. You need your team member to send you a report.
You could just write, "Give me the report now." But we know that is terrible.
How would you rewrite that sentence to make it clear, polite, and professional? What words would you use to soften the command?
Write your improved version in the comments below. For example, you might start with, "Could you," or "When you have a moment."
Don't be shy. We read every single comment, and it is a great way to practice your writing. So today, we survived a very stressful afternoon at the office. We learned that 5 words can create 40 minutes of chaos if those words are vague.
We discussed why pronouns like it need context, why deadlines like today need a specific time, and how to avoid jumping to conclusions when communication breaks down.
And remember, good English in the workplace is not just about having perfect grammar. It is about empathy. It is about thinking, how will the other person feel when they read this?
Exactly. Taking a few extra seconds to write a clear subject line and a polite request will make you a much better communicator and a much better colleague.
Do not forget to rewrite that bad email in the comments. Let's see who can write the most professional request.
If you enjoyed this episode of English Through Situations and found the vocabulary helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend or a coworker who might need it.
You've been watching English Through Situations.
Real English, real situations, better conversations.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.